12 months ago, I purchased a brand new 2021 MG ZS, a Chinese-built import and the first of the new ZS's to arrive in Australia at the time. I've slapped a bit over 18,000 kilometres on it in both city and country environments, which, let's face it, are a little tougher in Australia than other countries. So let's see how it fared. Starting with the pros, for the $22,000 price tag, the MG ZS is certainly value for money, packing in the features. With automatic headlights, Yamaha car audio with Apple CarPlay, synthetic leather trim, 17-inch alloys and rear view camera, just to name a few. The MG ZS is economical, getting around 9.1 litres per 100 kilometres in the city and about 5.9 litres per 100 on the open road. With the price of fuel at the moment, that's been a great advantage and a huge cost saver. There's been no noticeable change in the economy over time either, which is also a great sign. In the 12 months since rolling out at the showroom, the ZS has been in for its 10,000 kilometre service that was a grand total of $243. Now approaching the 20,000 kilometre checkup, that fixed price service is $285. So both running and servicing costs for the MG ZS are pretty reasonable. The overall build quality of the MG is great and has held up well over time. I think this was probably one of the biggest questions I was asking myself going into this, hearing plenty of horror stories about Chinese-built cars, so I'm pretty stoked with the result. There's no rattles or squeaks appearing in the interior and no noticeable deterioration of any of the surfaces in the car. In Australia, the MG ZS is holding its value really well, with private sales fetching between $17,000 and $19,000. And with the issues facing overseas manufacturers and shipping logistics, that trend looks like it'll continue for some time. Another great advantage of buying a cheaper car is of course the price of insurance. Full comprehensive cover for the MG ZS sets me back around $70 a month. Overall, I'm really happy with the ZS, its reliability, overall comfort and array of features. If I was really going to split hairs though, there are a few things about the ZS that do rub me the wrong way. First of all, there's a noticeable amount of wind noise in the cabin at highway speeds. Normally with the music on, that's not really a problem, but sometimes you just want to drive in silence and that does make it a little difficult. Again, being picky, for all the features jammed into the ZS, there is one that it lacks, and that's front parking sensors. It does have sensors fitted to the rear, so surely someone would have thought to add them to the front as well. Overall though, I'm really happy with the car and would highly recommend the MG ZS for someone looking for a modern, feature-packed car at a lower price point than its comparative rivals. For an entry-level MG, it hasn't missed a beat and has been an absolute pleasure to drive. It's no surprise that cars are sold under different brands across foreign markets. The Rowe RX3, MG ZS and MG Astor are all essentially the same car, but their inclusions and styling differ vastly from market to market. Let's start by taking a closer look at the Rowe RX3. Forming the base for the MGs now being sold across the world market, the RX3 was released in 2017 and was the first model produced at SAIC's new Zhengzhou plant, featuring heavier styling in the front end with a boxier front bar, defined bonnet and sleek grille. It received an update as the RX3 Pro in 2021, with the interior offerings a little more higher end, with additional trim options not found in the export models. The infotainment and air vent styling within the interior of the RX3 are quite different, while the rear looks more like a Subaru Outback or Mitsubishi Eclipse. The boxy styling almost makes you think this is an entirely different car. However, it's simply more refined to its target market, the People's Republic of China. Let's head across to India to meet the MG Astor. There are some cool and quirky features in the Astor that you simply won't find anywhere else in the world. The most noticeable thing first off is the unique grille styling, giving that warp speed effect. Sleeker flowing bodywork is featured on the MG Astor, the same as the Australian offering, but it's the interior that really takes on a life of its own. It's these thought-through styling changes that make the Astor stand out amongst the ZS or ZST. And that quirky part I mentioned earlier? Meet MG AI. This totally responsive in-car assistant is only available to the Indian market. It talks, listens and reacts while you drive. Although it is a little gimmicky, it's a wonder it wasn't rolled out elsewhere. And that brings us to the MG ZS, Australia's baseline offering from MG, and as a direct comparison, has less features and is more expensive than the Astor or Rowe RX3. The ZS is basically a stripped-back version of the Astor, so you'll miss out on things like push-button start and the larger infotainment system. The ZS comes with basic synthetic leather interior in a single colour, with everything from floor mats to a centre console being optional extras in the Australian market. Currently one of the most popular small SUVs on the market down under, the popularity of the ZS and ZST continue to grow as more vehicles make their way to our shores. If you're thinking about adding a tow kit to your MG ZS, you'll definitely want to see this before parting with your cash. There's a couple of aftermarket tow kits available for the MG ZS, and notably no factory option, and this seems to be for pretty good reasons. The two most common kits available in Australia are the Heyman Reese kit retailing for $1,200 and the other from Parkside Trailers retailing for just over $1,000. Both kits have a working load limit of 500 kilos and a maximum ball weight of 50 kilos, which is already pretty restrictive. The average 6x4 trailer comes in at or just over the 500 kilogram mark, so we can already rule out moving even the smallest piece of furniture or doing a tip run with the MG ZS. So this got me wondering, what exactly can you tow behind your MG ZS with a $1,000 tow kit? Here's a couple of examples of relatively common lightweight loads versus the maximum working load limit for both of these tow kits. Take a golf cart for example, weighing in at around 220 kilos. Put that on a lightweight golf cart trailer that weighs in at around 360 kilos and you're already 80 kilograms over the maximum working load limit. The average jet ski weighs around 310 kilograms and a lightweight jet ski trailer comes in at around 350. Again, the MG ZS is simply incapable of the load, sitting 160 kilograms over the working load limit. Still unable to find anything useful I could tow, I did come across some compact camper trailers that do come in under the 500 kilogram mark. However, the maximum ball weight of 50 kilos still proves too restrictive for most models. So as you can see, from the get-go, you're not really getting much from your tow bar with the underwhelming capacity. The verdict on the MG ZS tow kits is basically this. Unless you have something super lightweight that you're not moving vast distances, you might get some use, like a multi-bike rack for example. For the average person and day-to-day use, it seems there isn't much you can tow that wouldn't fit on a set of $400 roof racks. There's plenty of options out there, and I've got the Pro racks fitted to mine and they were super easy to fit and work a treat. Again, weight can be slightly restrictive, with the roof only rated to support 75 kilos. Let's take a look at the infotainment system and Apple CarPlay in the MG ZS. Beginning with the radio, the MG ZS has great reception and sound quality, with plenty of presets available for your favourite radio stations. Bluetooth audio is also available, along with a fully customisable range of sound options. It enables you to use the various presets or custom sound, as well as the virtual soundstage that enables you to more accurately redirect the sound within the car. This allows you to get the perfect soundscape for you and your passengers. The infotainment system also allows you to change various settings within the car as well, from internal and external lighting to steering wheel button customization. The MG ZS also gives you the ability to change the steering sensitivity from urban, normal and dynamic modes. Using these settings while driving, you really notice the difference. You've also got the option to factory reset the car's original digital settings should you feel the need to. Apple CarPlay is a key feature within the MG, and we'll get to that in just a minute. The in-dash display allows video and image playback from USB, along with control of your Bluetooth-enabled mobile. The setup options contained in the ZS are pretty standard, with date and time, Bluetooth, display and system information all at your fingertips. Another handy feature is the ability to turn off the screen completely. You can turn it back on instantly using the customizable steering wheel button. Now let's dive into Apple CarPlay, and this is where the infotainment system really shines. allowing you to access any Apple CarPlay-enabled app such as Spotify, Waze or Google Maps, the incredibly responsive touchscreen makes it a breeze. If you want to return to the home screen, just press the MG logo, and you can jump straight back into Apple CarPlay with the touch of a button. And there you have it, a basic rundown of the MG ZS infotainment system with Apple CarPlay. Just how safe is the MG ZS? Let's take a look. For this, we'll be using ANCAP results provided by the Australasian New Car Assessment Program, which is the standard here in Australia. Overall, the MG ZS rates pretty well, achieving a 4-star ANCAP rating under the testing conducted in 2017. This 4-star rating applies to ZS models produced from 2017 through to the current model in 2022. Given the MG ZS doesn't have blind spot monitoring or lane support system as standard, 4 stars is the maximum rating that the ZS could have achieved under the ANCAP criteria, which it's done. That's put the ZS on par safety-wise with the Hyundai Venue, Citroën C5 Aircross, Volkswagen Amarok and Hyundai Palisade, which all come in with a 4-star ANCAP safety rating. So overall, 4 stars from the MG ZS is a good result. Now it is worth noting that there is another option. The MG HS is fitted out with a few more options and has undergone more recent Euro NCAP and ANCAP testing, achieving a 5-star safety rating. This is thanks mainly to the addition of auto emergency braking, lane keep assist and the pedestrian avoidance system. The HS also has many more additional comfort features, however comes at a price increase upwards of $12,000. Either the MG ZS or MG HS ticks the boxes for me, providing overall safety and peace of mind. Thanks to the demise of the Australian domestic car market, Holden, Ford and Toyota all ceased production on Australian shores.
There's outrage tonight over Ford Australia's decision to axe 600 factory jobs.
The sackings continued at Toyota today.
Tears and anger have marked a protest by Holden workers pleading for a government rescue of the company.
The impact of losing that industry short term would be devastating for the country.
General Motors announced that Holden will cease to exist.
This saw iconic cars like the Holden Commodore and Ford Falcon disappearing forever. There's been a few attempts to bring Chinese-made vehicles to the Australian market over the past decade. However, all have failed to gain any decent traction.
That's good.
No, it's not good, Jack. It's great. The great cars of China.
Another Chinese newcomer, the Cherry SUV, comes in at under $20,000, just $12,000 for the hatchback.
The new Geely MK is Australia's best value 4-cylinder 5-door hatch and sedan.
Geely only ever made an appearance in Western Australia, launching in 2009 and disappearing in 2013 due to changes with Australian design and safety rules. New mandates for features like ESC prevented the Geely range from future import. Photon opened showrooms in 2014, debuting the Tundland Ute and later adding an SUV passenger van. However, the brand was dropped by their Australian distributor in 2017 due to low sales. And that brings us to JMC. They entered the Australian market in 2015 with the Vigus. It was the only car we saw imported to Australia under the JMC brand, with them withdrawing in 2018. So with many failed Chinese brands, how have MG managed to achieve success in Australia where so many others couldn't? In part, the acquisition of the MG or Morris Garage's name brought with it the reputation of quality British-built cars. When MG first started marketing in Australia, there was no sign that they were made by Chinese auto juggernaut SAIC, and many people just associated the MG brand with England. SAIC are a Chinese state-owned automaker behind brands such as Rowe, Maxus and Rising Auto. They've also got joint ventures in place with Volkswagen and General Motors to produce their vehicles within the Chinese market. With the MG Ranger's European-styled interior and input from the existing UK-based design team, SAIC managed to tick a lot of boxes with the MG ZS and MG3, all coming in at a more affordable price than comparative cars in the Australian market. The MG3 launched in Australia with a retail price of under $15,000, while the Mazda CX-3, the most comparative car on the market at the time, retailed for almost $20,000 more. With the low price point, the MG3 has been adapted as a cheap delivery vehicle for fast food restaurants like McDonald's and KFC. As MG have continued to gain traction within the Australian market and have seen sales increase, more dealerships have sprung up across the country, now providing a vast service and support network. The vehicle offering has also been expanded, with MG HS, EV and ZST variants now available, and a variant of the MG5 sedan is set to hit showroom floors before the end of 2022.